City of Massillon, Ohio, to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Johnson Controls to do a preliminary assessment for a potential facilities upgrade project of city buildings and declaring an emergency. I'm going to ask, we had the lady here last time, she explained it to us at the committee meeting, so I'm going to ask Dave, we had some conversation today, would you come up and go through this again? I know where there were a few questions that she said that it would just be her and another individual. Some people just were a little skeptical of some of that stuff, so I guess we'd like to hear a little more about how this would work. I know
Okay, yes, I thought we passed that last week, or our last meeting. We didn't pass it?
No, it's the first reading.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, basically what we spoke about this afternoon, that was just a memorandum of understanding. They will come in, they will basically analyze the buildings that we own, what we want them to analyze and look at. They'll make determinations on heating and cooling, expenses, basically look at all the different things with regards to the building and what we can do to make it more efficient. They will come back to us with a plan. I'm not quite sure what the plan will be. That maybe like A, B, C, D. We can do the whole thing. We can do bits and parts of it, how we want to do it, with a cost associated, whether it's upgrading installation, new windows, new heating and cooling units in the buildings, any types of things. I think they actually also look at what our utility costs are with regards to whether we want to do different things with utilities as far as programs, that sort of thing. And then they'll come back to us and ask us to enter into a contract with specific costs associated with different things that they recommend that we do. I don't really get into the financing aspect of it, but one of the things that they pointed out to us, and I think she pointed out to you, that they guarantee the cost savings, so they'll tell you what those cost savings are in a period of time. If we don't realize those cost savings, they'll write us a check for the difference and guarantee those cost savings. So there's nothing that's under this ordinance that's requiring us to do anything. Yes.
As part of this assessment, can they assess or give us an idea on the handicap accessibility and what the cost might be associated with that?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think they were looking at more of the efficiencies and stuff like that, but I mean, we could ask them to do that.
They're looking at the buildings, they
Sure.
might as well do that while they're here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Could you give us a little more on what will it cost us up front? And then how do we determine that the other as far as going after the savings?
Well, it won't cost us anything as far as this, what they're going down. All this is free for us. They'll analyze all the buildings, look at them, come up with determinations as far as what they see as cost savings, give us projections as far as what we can do to save money. This is all no cost to us. The only cost is associated when we enter into an agreement, specific agreement. Say, for example, one of the buildings, they wanted us to put all new energy efficient windows in. Then they would determine how much that would cost to do the new windows, what types of windows they would be, what the cost would be, what they estimate the savings to be over the course of so many years. I mean, usually 10, 15 years types of programs like that. And then we would sign a contract with them with regards to how much that whole program would cost.
Are there other items that could be added to the memorandum of understanding that they could be reviewing? Or is this pretty much their standard?
I think this is their standard. I mean, I think with the ADA stuff was interesting. I'm not sure they do that, but I mean, no, glad to talk to them about that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody have any comments? Nope. Okay.
Paul.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think it would hurt to enter into this contract. I mean, it's just, there's no risk to us. It's if we decide to do something down the road in the long run with them, that we can spend some money. So even if they come back with something like put new windows in, it's not something we have to do.
Absolutely not. The only thing that costs us is just a little bit of time and effort to show them the buildings, talk to them, get utility bills, information about the different buildings.
Yeah, I would support the next step, which is just the memorandum of understanding, and seeing what the possible cost savings would be. But after that comes back, I definitely would want to look carefully at what time period they're amortizing those costs over. If they're saying that we can pay for those in 10 years, that may be something. But if they're saying it take 20 years, I'm not so sure I would support that. So that was something I would definitely want to look closely at.
Well, I would think whatever they come back with, we'd have to definitely look real close at it and make a determination, because that's where the rubber meets the road with regards to this.
Right. But I think I'm supportive of the first step to see what they can find out.
She also mentioned that we did not have to contract with them for those services. So we could actually bid out if the report indicated there were improvements to be made, we could actually go to a different company or a different organization to assist us in doing so. We aren't bound to them even to do these items that are identified.
Well, I think that's correct. I mean, they're going to come back and say, do this X, Y, Z, and then we say, okay, we don't want to do it, but we may look at somebody else one. So I mean, it's ultimately our decision we want to do. It's not a secret when they give us this stuff. It's going to be public record.
I'm supportive of this as well.
Thank you. Okay, I've had two we've talked about a little bit, we're not ready to move on anything yet. I talked to a lot of She's still researching on the Duncan Plaza. So we're still in limbo a little bit on this. Just my own personal opinion, like I'd like to throw in on this, and anybody else has, whatever you want to say, you can say. I'm starting to more and more look at this Duncan Plaza thing like the way we look at the fire station. Does it have to be done? Is there ways to do it to save some money? This is to me, we have streetscape and Duncan Plaza running together like this. And I'm not so sure that I'd like to see my park tax dollars spent on Duncan Plaza. Sure, it's great to get $1.5 million or $2 million, whatever we have pledged. I'm not sure exactly what it was. It's at least $1 million, but that would go a long way as far as doing a lot of stuff to a place that really is not in bad shape at all. There's nothing wrong. The fountains work, all the electricity works and everything. And I don't know, just myself, I'm starting to question some of these things. That's
As all of you are aware, for a number of years, I felt that we should put more money into Stadium Park. And that's how I feel about that.
I agree that some more information might be needed. My only hesitation is probably similar to yours, Paul, in the sense that I don't know if I align completely with the 125 coming from parks to go to this. Granted, it is a park. I believe it is a park, and it'll be Foundgate Park. But this particular renovation would be more of an economic development, overall community, to go with the downtown. It doesn't seem like it would be something that if the park was to independently do, they would want to do. And considering that the major push for this project is coming from the administration, and so far with the support of the council, this seems like the park is like a tag on at the end. So you might want to explore an alternative way of funding that particular portion if we were to continue forward. That's my thought on that.
The part you say we're still talking about, that's the legislation of going forward with the architect, right, to their plan. Yes. For $88,000. We're still getting information on that. I agree. I'm hesitant to commit to all of the renovations that were put forth or suggested. I think that, as you said, the parks or the Duncan Plaza is in pretty good shape. I can see we could do some things to enhance it. I would love to see us be able to move some of that money to other projects like Stadium Park, Reservoir Park. Parks in general, I think, need an upgrade, and I think we need money should be placed in those areas as well. But I would not want us to lose any grant money that's been identified, earmarked for that purpose. And if we, don't use, I mean, I think it needs to be used for what it was granted for. So, and I hate to have it taken away because we didn't use it for the right purpose, so that would be my hesitation.
I guess I would ask, the architect bill, does that commit us to do exactly what he would be recommending? Or can we go back to him and say, these are the dollars that we have, both the $750 coming from the state, we've got over $250,000 coming from other grants, other foundations that, at least my experience in foundations is if you have not completed the projects that you indicated you were going to spend those dollars on, they take them back. They're not going to be offering them. But I guess my question is, to remedy the fact that $125,000 may be coming from parks, could we go back to the architect by approving just the bill for the architect to say, can you give us a rendering for the dollars that we have, with basically city putting in nothing, because we've got well over $1 million, as Paul's indicated, from the state, from the foundations. Maybe not spending anything over and above that. I don't know if that is an option. If we approve this bill of $80,000, or maybe it would even be less than that, if we go back to him and say, okay, if we don't have $1.5 million, if we have $1.2 million, what can we do with that? And what would you, I guess, envision him going back through and saying, maybe not doing this, or maybe not doing that, and still have a beautiful Duncan Plaza area, but not taking funding that would be possibly spent on other things, such as Parks and Rec.
I just had one other thought. I would not support anything that would involve changing Veterans Park. I think, I don't think that we want to involve that at all, so. But I agree, the money that's been earmarked for Duncan Plaza, if we can use it, let's use it to that amount, and then not put any extra.
I think it's made pretty clear that Veterans Park is not part of this plan, and it's separate, and not planning on being touched. My only worry is when we talk about we should move money to different parks, is that we're going to give people the idea that we can do that, and we're not even sure we can do that. I mean, we have $750,000 earmarked for Duncan Plaza, that's a grant, and more in foundations, that's a grant for Duncan Plaza. They're given to us for that specific purpose. It's not like we can just move that to Stadium Park or Palmer Park or any other park. We're more than likely to lose the money if we try to do that, and we need to make sure everybody's clear on that, but that may very well not be a possibility.
Well, the only money I was thinking of moving was the 125, not accepting the appropriation from the Parks and Rec Department that they've already approved in their board, just not accepting that and finding alternative method, whether that be lowering the overall bid so that we can get, because the state's only giving us $750, and then we have raised about $500,000, $400,000 in foundation money. So I believe some of that money from the state might be a match involved or something like that, and we can use the foundation money to do that. Or we just take from our carryover or whatever, and we fund it from local dollars as an economic development project. But I agree, when you have the resi floor up right now, you have other parks, like the community park could use some attention, things of that nature. That $125,000 could be better used in the parks that are in our neighborhoods. We should just look for alternative sources for downtown.
I guess I'll say one other thing. Is there any way to go back to Picard and ask him if he's able to, based on the amounts that we have earmarked and have been approved, so that there's no fear of losing those dollars, can we get a plan or a rendition from him just for those dollars? Is that something that would be of interest?
Yeah, I think that we could do that. First of all, I would have said the same thing again. If this would have been a project that came through the parks, I'd be looking at it differently. Okay? To me, we have run streetscape and Duncan Plaza together. So this is a city project, not a parks project. And that's part of my up with the plan, and I went through everything I could find going back on this, and I found 3 different plans that have been proposed. So, you know, I'm still upset that the newspaper put this stuff in there and said that, you know, we didn't bring any of these things up, objections last year when we were saying go ahead with the project. Well, it doesn't look the same today as it did last year when we were going through this. If you saw the one that I pulled out, I have it in here, I can show you if you want to see. There was a big sweeping walkway that started over there where the building was going to be torn down across the street next to you. And there was going to be this big sweeping walkway. The walk came up through there and went across in front of the front part of Duncan Plaza. That was one of them. Then there was another one that looked like it just took a square in the center of it. No, there was no, what do you call the band thing? Amphitheater. There was no amphitheater in any of those early ones, and we were getting donations already and some letters of support. So some of these things, I agree, we don't want to say we're going to take the money from there and we're going to go out and spend it on the stadium park, or we're going to spend, but that other park money can be spent in those places. But also, I believe when we handle it right, what you're talking about is what can we do for the money we actually got donated down there? And I still think tearing that up at this point in time, there's some real problems I personally have with this plan. I mean, I don't know anybody that ice skates anymore, hardly. If they do, they go to an indoor ice skating rink that's up by the Akron Airport and stuff. You know, so, you know, some of these things are gonna cost money, but what are we gonna get out of them? I mean, I think we still need a skateboard park in town someplace. We're talking about building an ice skating thing that, come on. I have a little problem with some of these things, and we're not ready to move yet, but I think we need to keep discussing it right up until we do get this information on what we're gonna do. I mean, I don't think we're gonna give back $1 million, $1.5 million, but I'm a little leery of committing totally to the present proposal that's out here.
Would you have an objection going back to John Picard and asking him for something that
I have no objection to going asking anybody anything.
Well, yes, I mean,
But I mean,
council
you know,
in general.
we have a beautiful park down here, and to my knowledge, we haven't sunk a lot of money in planning on it. It's been handled. I know Veterans Park, the way I see it, the people in Massillon are very happy with Veterans Park. And I don't think we've involved much money at all in the plans of that park. I'm sure the museum did some of their own stuff. So I'd like to find out just, you know, totally what their plans are and everything, but I can't see spending all of our money on an architect if we're just going to do a facelift maybe. And that's maybe all we need, something like that. It's very, very nice looking park in my mind. Anybody else?
Just that I'm not in agreement of taking $125,000 from the Parks Department for Duncan Plaza.
They're probably going to complain that we're not really allowing them to be autonomous, but like we said, this is a different project. This is a city project, not just a parks project.
Exactly.
All right. Let's see. Next one is, I'd like to have something on, if we're going to put some legislation forward, I'd like to get something before the end of August for councils, for the city elected officials' pay raises. And like I said, I've been talking, I kind of think about this going back and, you know, going back to what we had prior to freezing it where it was. Maybe you want to think about, we just gave our employees 2% raises, maybe you want to look at something there to add 2% and then put a cost of living back in on it, I don't know, but I at least intend to put together some legislation with the, using the cost of living formula. If you want to see more than that, we'll talk about it. I at least want to put that on, so something's in place for next year. Anybody have any problems with that?
Were we able to get any more comparables?
Well, we had that one that was was 11,000 for Warren, and that was the last.
I have you
Nice,
going down where,
Buildings over and
no, Strasburg was 12,000.
Yeah.
And that might would be something we want to discuss with Lori when we have our budget meeting. Working it into the budget as far as the raises for 2020.
Yes. Okay, that's all I have. Going to the next is environmental. Dave's not here, and I don't think there's anything environmental in the back of it. All right. Health and welfare.
No, I don't have anything to say.
Parks and Rec, Jill's not here.
It's not-
There was nothing. Police and fire. Jason.
First thing up is a request for legislation and ordinance approving and adopting an extension of an alternative method for apportioning the Stark County Undivided Local Government Fund for 2020 through 2022, authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement and declaring the same to be an emergency. Any discussion on that?
Can someone share with us the alternative method? I know it's just reiterating again, it's been in place from 2010 through 2019, and this will put it in place for another 2 years, but I'm not familiar with what that alternative method is.
Good evening. Actually, the alternative method is pretty much just a title that they use. The Ohio Revised Code provides 2 options for the distribution of the Stark County funds through SCOG, which is for Metro, Crime Lab. So the 2 different types of options they offer is called the statutory formula and the alternative formula. The alternative formula has actually been in place for our SCOG since 1990. It is the preferred method. It's basically what works best for us, or, for SCOG, I shouldn't say just us, because there's a whole group in there. So that's just really what they title it. So there's 2 different formats of it. If you want all of the details and breakdown, you could go to the Ohio Revised Code. It's section 5747.50 through .54, and that will tell you the 2 different options that they offer. So the SCOGs groups and the local governments have always approved this method since 1990. The reason that they want to do a 3-year extension and they're not doing the entire 10-year is because there will be a new census coming out in 2020. So they would want to then base everything off of the new census. So at that point, then they will come back and probably do the 10-year from there forward then, if that's still the method that they're going to use.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that Ohio Revised Code? 5745, I'm sorry.
5747.50 through .54.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on that? Next thing I have is a request for legislation. Request is hereby made to prepare legislation for an ordinance to purchase 3 APX 6000 portable radios for emergency preparedness and 1 APX 8000 portable radio that was lost in a recent swiftwater rescue on Fremont Southeast, using the Ohio STS Fremont State Purchasing Plan. Purchase price is not to exceed $21,500 for all 4 radios. Terms of purchase, 0 down, balance is due 30 days after delivery. This request was given by Safety Service Director. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
On the radio that was actually lost in the rescue, do we have any type of insurance that would, on that type of equipment, that would be forthcoming?
This is a joint effort here.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. In answer to the question, we do have some insurance, but the deductible is almost cost prohibitive. It's, by the time it would only pay for the radio itself, not the programming or anything else. The radio is about $2,500, which is probably, that's very close to the deductible, but then the other $1,500 to $1,700 in programming, and so that wouldn't be covered anyway. And that's why we thought, rather than try and get that, mess with the insurance with the deductibles, we just asked for that radio to be replaced. Part of the problem is it's an APX 8000 radio, which is, it's embarrassing. It's my radio, obviously. It was a dual band radio. It could talk to those agencies that are not on marks, that are on VHF and UHF. And the reason why it's necessary to be replaced is right now I have the Italians radio, which is also similarly situated. And so when we had an acting assistant chief down, they're using the wrong radio. And so that's why we're trying to do it as rapidly as we can. Thank you.
Any other questions? Next one I've got is request for legislation for an ordinance to purchase a 2019 MedX Type 1 ambulance with liquid ride suspension using Ohio STS procurement state purchasing plan. Purchase price not to exceed $178,000 for the ambulance. Chief, you want to come up and answer those questions?
So I'm more happy to discuss this one because it's a little bit less embarrassing. I spoke about this a few months ago. One of the issues with going back and forth to Albany Mercy Medical Center was the longer transport times and the wear and tear on the ambulance. But in exchange for that, we received $13 per loaded mile. To the point where the offset is right there, it's about $220,000. If you examine where we were in 2017, we were getting $250 per call. We're already up to $289 in 2018 because that's when the hospital went down and we're making those additional transport times. In all of 2018, we brought in $994,000 already. We're at $700,000, so we anticipate that we're going to be right around $220,000 additional revenue that comes in as a result of those extra loaded mileage trips. The reason why the legislation says not to exceed $170,000 is because the 2011 model is not a Type 1, it is a Type 3, and we're hoping to get some sort of a trade-in on that. But the beauty of the Type 1s, such as the ones that we ordered 3 months ago and this one, they're able to be converted so that you can re-chassis the back box off of it, and so it'll come at considerable less cost as they move forward. We contemplated that way back in 2012 when we started ordering ambulances, but the Type 1 wasn't available for our situation, and because of our fiscal difficulty, we were trying to get ambulances turned around as efficiently and effectively, cost effectively as we could. Now that we can spend about $10,000, $15,000 more, it's going to pay dividends to those who come after because they'll be able to re-chassis these at considerable discount.
So this is replacing ambulance in the fleet then?
This is going to replace the 2011 ambulance. The 2009 ambulance was replaced with it, and actually it's not here yet, but it should be here sometime next month. And then this one will not be scheduled to be delivered until after October 1st.
What's the current serviceability of the 2011?
Well, the problem with the 2009 is that it had a 6.0 engine, and it's just difficult. The serviceability of the 2011 is getting to be the same thing. We've replaced the transmission, we've replaced several modular things, the lighting, we went to LED light, we were trying to make it as much cost effective as we could. But it just seems like it only ever breaks down when we really need it the most. So it's got some engine difficulties. It's not as bad because it's the different engine than the 6.0. We moved away from that altogether once we heard that they were having difficulty with that. Nonetheless, it is still a Type 3, and we really want to try and migrate to the Type 1 and get that squared away. And I was hoping to take advantage of the increased mileage in order to make that jump.
Is it about 7-8 years, is that like the service of everything else?
Well, my hope was to get 10 years out of them, but that's when we were making most of our transports to Affinity Medical Centers. 79% of our runs went to, inside the city. And so when we opened up Station 3, we go back to a 10-year plan. We need, obviously 4 ambulances and then a backup or a reserved ambulance. And that ambulance is also used for special details, things like that. So we went back to a 10-year plan. Unfortunately, we don't have the hospital right now. I think it's a short-term situation because I'm looking at probably 55 to 60% of our current run volume will go to Alton, Massillon starting in October. And so I think that a 10-year plan is viable. It's just that we lost the hospital for a time, and we're trying to make that up.
Chief, did you say the 09, we're going to be trading it in, or are we going to be trying to sell it to somebody else?
The 09 is not able to be traded in. We're going to try and sell that on gov deals. The 11 is able to be traded in, but I'm not certain exactly how much we're going to get for it. I would imagine we'll get maybe $6,000 or $7,000 for it. The 09, they weren't going to give us anything for it, and I believe I can get some value out of it on gov deals. There's not a great deal of market for those types of.
Are you comfortable serving the city with the 4 ambulances that we will have and the spare?
Yes, absolutely. That's part of the original plan that we had stuck with, before we lost Station 3. We were projecting all of those things. We lost Station 3, then we lost the hospital. Now we have Station 3 back, but we still don't have the hospital back. Eventually, we're going to get the hospital back, and we thought all along that a 10-year plan was good for ambulances in this city.
And this will be coming out of the transporting fund, the 10% we've been setting aside. Is that where the funds are coming from?
No, sir. This money's coming out of the general fund. The last one came out of the EMS fund. And what I'm trying to do is build that up and maintain a rotation on that 2-year plan. And I can't do that because this one comes in ahead of schedule.
Any questions?
I have a question. I'm sorry, Tom, this is the oversight on my part. You do have a reason for emergency, but you do not have it marked yes or no. Does this require emergency language?
It does. And the reason, I'm wondering if I didn't put it in the appropriation, because there are 2 pieces of legislation, the legislation requesting the appropriation. And it is, we want to try and take advantage of, there's usually a 2 to 7% increase toward the end of the year. If I can get this ordered, I not only can save those dollars, but I'm able to turn it around in such a time when the hospital opens. I think that we're on our best foot forward. It'd be delivered after October 1st and paid for by.
The appropriations.
Yeah, the appropriation says emergency. So
I apologize.
that's okay. Jason, just mark emergency and then sign where it says committee chairperson approval.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I personally believe it's a no-brainer. The excess funding that we're taking in for extra costs, for extra extra miles run, offsetting it. Yeah, it's,
All right. Public utilities rebate.
Nothing.
Rules and courts, Mike.
I have nothing.
Okay. Maintenance, streets and highways.
I just have one tonight. This is something I think we do just about every year, not every other year. This is just a bridge inspection program with ODOT. It allows ODOT to come in and inspect all the bridges within the city. There's a list of things that they will do at 100% cost to ODOT. If we ask for additional items, I believe then we have to cover any costs, but normally we just allow them to come in and inspect our bridges and anything else beyond that date. Any questions? That's all I got.
This was related to the last topic that we tabled, the dedication of Phoenix Avenue out at Shears, if you remember a while back, we tabled that. We were waiting on easements from the gas company. We've got those easements recorded. So we'd like to have the ordinance on table next week and voted on if possible.
Wait, that ordinance number?
I don't have it in front of me, but I can.
We'll have to get it.
Yeah.
We have to get it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Providing it.
This is just a request, or do we have it in ordinance?
We had it already in ordinance form, we tabled it.
Yes.
We went through readings and we tabled it.
Right, yeah.
But we've done two, so we gotta figure out which one it was. Yeah, we've recently
Microphone
tabled-
maybe.
We've recently tabled two like that, so we just gotta figure out which one it's going.
I'll talk to you.
Alright, thanks.
Okay, and finance.
The first one we have is a $750 appropriation. This is for the community neighborhood fair that happened a couple weeks ago. And we had a donation that funded this, and we're just appropriating it. Questions? All right, please appropriate, another one is please appropriate $21,000 for the radios that we just discussed in fire, police and fire. So approval of that would mean we need to appropriate. So we will keep this in conjunction with the police and fire one and move it at the same time. Any questions or discussion? Same thing with the next one, except it's for the $178,000 for the ambulance. We'll leave that to go in the same time frame as police and fires. This next one is an appropriation for $3 million for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade project. This appropriation is in dispersed funds for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade project for continuing expenses in 2019. This is a pass-through account for these transactions. The project is not yet completed. So they have funding that comes in for their projects that they need to do, and it just sits there and we have to appropriate it. We do this probably 2 or 3 times a year, depending on the level of the project that particular year. I believe, is this the same project we've been working on for about 3 years now, correct? 5 years? I guess it has been that long. Yeah.
It's about finished now, though. I think that we're at the end of it. In
Yeah.
fact, we put enough in here to pay the bills,
Microphone, please.
but we'll probably, oh, I'm so sorry. We put enough in here to pay the bills, but we'll probably come back towards the end of the year to reduce that line item then.
And this was the one that 5 years ago we had to do in order to get into compliance with EPA, and we actually took it a step further because we were anticipating other changes. Thank you. This is actually a really good one. It is our tax budget for the Stark County tax budget. We call it every year, it's like our dream list, our wish list. It covers everything we could possibly need or want in next year. And we have to give this to Stark County. And it's kind of what we give them to show our need for taxation within the city of Massillon. The reason I say it's a good one is because it's a pretty detailed report, tells you exactly where we want to be and where we're heading, so it's a good one to look over when we pass it every year. Are there any questions? We do have the auditor here. So nice to see you, Blaine.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Are there any discussion or points that you'd like to make, Madam Auditor?
Actually, you said it exactly as it is. It is a wish list. It isn't an exact budget. We do not go by this exactly. What we do is we petition the county and let them know that these are the funds that we need. So you said it exactly as it is. It's just every year we go through it, so it's just something that we have to do.
And then while I have you speaking, would you be able to tell us today what our current carryover position is?
Well, we've got it.
Upwards.
$2,653,425.15.
One of these days we're going to keep you split and catch you slipping. Oh, yes, yeah. At this point in time, that's what it is. So great. Any other questions, Mr. Gray?
Yeah. So just so I'm clear, on this wish list that we're talking about, we give that to Stark County, and do they actually cut items from that or cut budget?
No, that, we just let them know that this is the amount of money that we're going to be asking for. And then when you approve the final budget, that's when it's certified and goes over to them.
Okay.
Not until that final budget. And there'll be quite a few adjustments on the next budget that you will see.
So this wish list is typically more than we will actually use, or less?
Not necessarily, no.
No.
Not more, but you might see line items change. More will go into one pot thing and another pot, that kind of a thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, thank you. The next one I have here is please prepare legislation to make certain transfers from within 2019 appropriations within the wastewater treatment fund. And we are moving $4,800 out of hospital eye and dental and putting it into a different hospital eye and dental account. It's a different account, that is why it's required in ordinance. Correct? And it's just to realign the budget. Same concept with this next one. It's appropriation from the general fund. It's hospital eye and dental for $7,500, and then another hospital eye and dental for $5,000, and they will be going into other hospital eye and dentals. It's realigned to pay for the clerk, of course, the city hall health insurance. I want to do these quick transfers real quick. Park and Recreation is wanting to transfer, and these are not ordinances, these are just transfers, so upon signature they're effective. Services and contracts reduction by $15,936.31, put it in capital purchase, and this is for improvements to the reservoir tennis courts. And we'll say it's nice to see those tennis courts getting upgraded and continuing to work on that park facility. And then this next transfer is a similar thing. It's for the tennis courts, but they will be moving out of supplies and materials, $17,498.59, and out of CI fund services and contracts, $130,760 for a total of $148,258.69 going into the capital purchase. So this last piece that I have, I want to do a little bit of explanation. I know we discussed it 2 weeks ago, and we're still digging into it, wanting to discover more, but I wanted to get it on the agenda so that we can keep it on the forefront of our conversation and continue to explore it. It doesn't just get lost in the shuffle. I do fully believe that this will take 3 readings to get through, and if necessary, we can table and get a 4th reading out of it. You notice I'll have X's in there. When I submitted this legislation for request, Andrea was taking some much needed time with her family, we're hoping this week she can help do the research to get the ordinances in. But what this is please prepare legislation by the council of the city of Massillon to repeal ordinance blank. The returning income tax credit for residents out of the city of Massillon that work outside of the city of Massillon to 100%. So a few years back, tax credit was 100%, it was reduced to 75%. When we passed the street levy, it was increased back to 90%. This is something that I've always been fairly passionate about and wanting to get it back to that 100%. And for anyone that's not familiar, what that means is if someone were to live in Massillon but work in Canton, they will pay Canton's 2% income tax, but then they would also, on those same dollars, have to pay 0.2 at Massillon. There's a couple issues with this. Some people view this as double taxation. The other issue that Ms. Creamer actually brought up that's been a point of mine for a few years now is that for new people wanting to locate to the city, this is possibly a disincentive, a reason not to come here because of having to pay that additional tax when they could just live in a township or in the city that they work in and just live there instead. So we don't want to do, in my opinion, we want to do anything that would encourage people to not want to be in Massillon. And I just feel that, overall it's been an unfair and unjust way of revenue. It's calculated about a $350,000 loss for the city if we do this. So there would be less revenue brought into the city on that front. But we will research and get those final numbers in this week so that on Monday, obviously the legislation will have that ordinance in there. Are there any questions from council members? Mr. Mason?
I asked about the parks. How much is going to reduce their revenue to? Did we get that number?
Lori, do you have that?
Yes, I sent out an email a couple weeks ago. I had hoped that everybody has received that. I know I did get a response back from Mike that he did that. It's about 104,000.
How is that calculated?
We're looking at 450,000 total then.
What I'm asking is how can that be calculated? 350,000 from the report that you were showing me now, all of a sudden another 104,000.
It's included in that.
And 350.
Yes, it's a percent. If you take the percentage of that 350, I actually had our representative that helps us with our tax system come up with that. So it's part of that 350, but it would affect the parks by 104,000.
Now, I guess my follow-up question is, and that this is where I'm going to need some more details from. If we have an overall 2% tax, correct, and the parks is 0.3, that means the parks is less than 25% of what we collect. They're only about, what is that, probably about 12%, 14%, something, maybe 15%. So is 15% of 350 and 100,000? Seems a little high.
I can go back and ask her if she actually calculated it, as I had stated before. I don't give numbers unless I go to our midst and I get it actually on the report. So I can double check with her, but she's actually the one that did calculate it. So I can double check and get that out to you.
Just in the way she figured it, I guess, is what we're going to want to know, because I'm not a math genius, so maybe there is something that I'm not seeing there, and I would like to know. But, I guess 100,000.
So we have 1.5 in the city for parks and 2 for the streets. Right.
Which means, in what I was thinking, 75% then would be general fund hit, and the last 25% would be spread over parks and streets. But 100,000 of 350 is well over 25%. 30%. Yeah, right. There you go. I didn't have a calculator apparently, so I didn't do it. It seemed a little bit high. So parks would be 105,000, and then the rest will be, so then you could expect.
Tends to be 15%.
Yes. Just get back to us, help us figure it out.
And Frankfurt.
No, I'm just,
The streets would be 10%, this would be 15, and the rest would be 75. You're right there.
but I don't want to doubt the accountants. they obviously do this for a living. And regardless, it's $350,000 overall for the city, and there would be a shared effect over all of our different areas.
So that part still is part of that 350, so we don't need to check.
Are there any other questions or discussion of the ones that make, other than showing that my math is not on point tonight? You know, I had a wonderful math teacher at one point. That's what I said.
But you didn't pay attention to it.
Apparently not.
You also had help with the tutor.
Yeah, that too is wonderful, too. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I wanted to remind council, it's very important that you all realize that back in 2016, you passed Resolution 20. And Resolution 20 was part of our fiscal plan, and it was a 5-year plan. And in that plan was the tax credit. So I did call the state auditors and I asked them, because I heard rumors that you were thinking about doing this, and they said, of course, you have the ability to take that out of the fiscal plan. But if you take it out of the fiscal plan, then you have to put something in there to generate that much revenue that you're taking out. Because it's part of the fiscal plan that we were able to come out of fiscal emergency.
That we passed in 2016, correct?
Correct. And it was a 5-year plan.
So 5 years would take us to 2021, and currently, if we were to pass this, it wouldn't take effect until 2021. Because it
It
would,
would be the last year plan.
the revenue loss wouldn't hit us until 2021, which would be at that 5-year window.
Okay, so you're aware that if you do take it out, though, before this 5 years are up, that we have to replace that revenue?
What I'm saying is that 5 years expired in 2021. If we pass legislation making this effective January 1, 2020, that money wouldn't be collected in 2021 anyways, which is at that 5-year window.
Based on 2020.
It would be based on 2020, but the revenue loss wouldn't be effective
I
in
think James
2021.
thinks that's the last year of our plan, so we're still.
This went, in 2021 is the last year of our plan. It went from 2017 to 2021. And it would go through the end of 2021. So it may be something you'd want to delay until next year to do. I'm just telling you, when I talked to the state auditors, they did not say you could not do it. They just said, if you do it, and then they said, why would they? But they said, if you
Because, well, why would we? I will answer that. Some people have asked me that. Because I think every once in a while it's nice for government to give something back to its citizens who have so kindly gotten us out of this issue. And that would be interesting to the auditor's office as well.
And I have the fiscal plan, if anybody wants a copy of it, I have it, or is it online? It could well be online. It's Resolution 20, 2016, or Diane can send it out, you can even email it out. And while I'm on that subject, if you don't mind, I would just like to say, we are having a problem with all of your emails.
Yes.
And are you aware?
Yes.
We've figured that out.
Okay, great, because they're wrong on our website, and so whatever you all decide that you're going to do for your emails, they need to be corrected on our government website. Because I know people have been emailing you and they're not getting through, and you told me,
Yeah.
I knew that your email didn't work, but others didn't.
Yeah, for some reason, I was getting all the emails, and then all of a sudden, things stopped.
Manson said he doesn't always either.
Yeah.
Mine has stopped this.
Yeah, so, but we either need to get that corrected or something needs to be done, but thank you for allowing me to speak.
No problem. I think further conversation needs to be had also with the auditor, the state auditor's office, and then I want to look at the legality of you know, we always have what we call the home rule, where we're able to govern ourselves. If we have shown fiscal strength, and we're talking about multiple millions of dollars of carryover. We just renovated an entire fire station with absolutely no debt. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars every year that we are spending, keeping ourselves out of debt and improving the city, which is amazing things. And for Columbus to try to tell me that I'm not able to give us a tax break to some of my citizens, I find absolutely ridiculous, just because of some plan that they made me pass 5 years ago under the threat of them taking over my city. We've shown fiscal strength. We've shown conservative measures to make sure we stay strong. And now they're going to try to hit me over the head citizens in our city would appreciate or want. I think that's ridiculous. I also would wonder if the state would really throw us back into fiscal emergency just because we balked on the last 12 months. For $350,000, they're going to throw us back into fiscal emergency for that. So I would like to look over that, the home rule, and what the repercussions are and how strong of a position they're going to take against us on this. Because they showed no opposition whatsoever when we raised it to 90% and dedicated dollars to streets. And when we dedicated dollars to streets, that absolutely nothing for our general fund and the health and the economic development of the city. Because that money was committed elsewhere and they said nothing. So now all of a sudden they're going to say something about the last 2%, kind of ridiculous. Just my opinion. Anyone else? Mr. Manson?
Yeah, back to that,
Michael,
taxes, back to the taxes will be paid. Those taxes are for 2020, okay?
Yes.
And there will be people paying them every month of that year. Now, the people that don't pay them all will have to get them paid by April of the following year, but those are for 2020.
Yeah, but it's collected at 21.
And they will be getting them immediately. No, it's not collected in 21. It's collected on it every day.
Some will be collected in 20, because there are people that I know.
Some,
pay
that's what I
quarterly.
said,
Yeah,
some
they
will
do, yeah.
be,
Some people have paid quarterly because they have to, because of the 10% tax that makes them, the ones that have fallen away,
Yes,
they will not be paying quarterly.
but
So there will be
it
a
would be
slight
a
loss.
slight loss. in
Slight
20,
loss in
yes.
point, but not the brunt of that.
But it would be slight.
The majority of that, what is that?
all your
Something like,
city employees will be paying all those taxes from day one of 2020. They'll be getting.
city of Massillon's employees won't be affected. It'll only be people that work outside of the city of Massillon. So Massillon's city employees would not be affected by this legislation. Nor would the
We're
revenue.
still talking about tax revenue that is 2020, it's not 2021. It's
Right now in 2019, the money that we collected up until April 15th was money that was due to us due to the working and the income revenue, whatever, that was generated during 2018, a majority of it.
during 2018, right?
And we collected it in
Well, we
2019.
collect, I think we should find out how much.
I mean, we should
actually
pay your
is
taxes,
paid
I pay my
how much
taxes.
is paid at the end of the
It's
year.
withholding as well, isn't it?
Well, withholding, but it
Withholding
was,
goes on your mom.
it does. So there will be some impact, but then the brunt of it will be felt later. Regardless, we need to have more of a conversation with the state to see where they feel about it, and where they're gonna come. I do agree with you, Mr. Manson, I understand you're saying the splitting as well, that there's withholdings or quarterly payments, so there will be some impact of 2020, because it is 2020 taxes. I don't want to disagree with that. I get very carried away on this particular issue, because it's one that I think was wrong when we did it, and we were pushed in the corner and forced to do it, along with the street lighting fee, against, what we wanted to do. And it's time that we get back, so this is not anything personal against anyone that may want to make good points, because they're needed. We need to do this intelligently, we can't just go in there with kind of blazing. So, Mr. Harrison, I'm sorry, you had a point, and then get back to Mr. Manson.
I'm interested to know if the 350,000 would need to be substituted with additional revenue, or can it be shown by cost savings?
Good point. That'd be a question for the auditor. So what you're saying, Mr. Harrison, if we cut our spending by 350 to offset it, instead of bringing in more money, we just cut the spending. Mr. Manson?
Yeah, she brought up about the carryovers, what, 2.6, is that what you said, or how much of that is money that we got from the hospital on the options?
We have that breakout.
So this isn't all tax revenue.
Right.
Some of
$1,774,000
that's what we got received from the hospital.
so far.
So about 900,000 then in tax revenue then.
And I apologize, this evening I got a little bit quick, but like I said, it's a pretty important issue to me. So I don't want to discredit anyone's opinion, because they're absolutely valid and things that we thought through when moving forward.
is that next budget meeting?
The city council one.
Yes.
We haven't said it yet.
Oh, okay.
And to clarify, that would just be for setting council's portion of the overall city budget. Correct?
Correct.
All right,
Mr. Lewis, we can prepare legislation as you want it to read. We have all of the documentation there that we can prepare the legislation if you want to stop in, Paul, and tell us how you want it to read.
for what?
Were you just talking about the increase in council and administrative?
No, she was talking about, Lori had asked us to get together and discuss the council's portion of the overall budget for next year.
If that'll all be, if that gets passed, then that'll all be in the budget when she does the budget for next year, because it'll be passed this year.
Yes. All right, Ms. Sylvester.
I would just like to add, just because I do have some background in the income tax, and I worked on that part of it, and, you know, we went from the 75 to the 90 and so forth. So, you know, Mr. Jansen is correct, and people know they're paying. Also, quarterly estimates are a state requirement now. House Bill 5, effective 2016, requires people, if you're going to owe more than $200 in tax, you do have to make quarterly estimates. Also, I know you're going to speak with the state and have more conversations with them, and I know you're having Andrea do some research on this as well. But you also want to keep in mind of the wording that you're going to put through with that for the ordinance. You say on here now 100% tax paid to another municipality. And you spoke earlier about Canton's rate at 2%. Canton's rate is 2.5%.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I'm not.
You know, as it reads here, someone can interpret this that I pay 2.5% to Canton, and that
You don't pay anything to Massillon.
you're going to get 100% tax credit up to the 2%. So if you look at, because it clearly states that now, it's, you know, 90% up to the 2%. If you go to other cities, it will always say it's up to, or you could put to the current rate, so that if it would change again, it would stay up. So,
Absolutely.
just
No, and I agree, that's why Andrea's gonna get the executives. The other thing is we look at it and we said, if we just repealed the one, it would almost make it go back to 75%. So we have to be careful that we don't do that on accident either. So that's the work that Andrea's gonna carry out for us, and I appreciate her hard work.
Don't want any ambiguity again.
Yeah. And I'm also, you know, pointing out that yes, the court dates and things would impact us some in 2020. Now that we start to look at it. All right, that's all I have on Mr. Mason.
Okay. Anybody else before we, I'm still going to take some questions from the floor or comments.
I just want to mention, if you can remember to come Wednesday night to BW3's, the Cunningham Memorial Advanced Scholarship.
Hold on, can someone from the city please remain, because I want to discuss the downtown project, and if they all leave, we can't do that.
Dave, here.
I'm sorry.
Okay, this isn't part of the,
This
you
is,
didn't make it clear, this isn't part of opening up to the people are here. He's got a question about the downtown project.
they were, that's fine. But Sarita was saying something first, so.
Well, let me tell you too, they told me that they were not going to stay for this open part of the meeting, which I think they should, but that's up to them if they don't. I know, part of the reason I did this about the open part of the meeting is I watch other council meetings on TV, you know, they're on television, and they have open forums. So somewhere we need to have an open forum to discuss it. That's what I'm attempting to do here. I don't want it to get out of control or anything. And I don't want to grill the administration, but I have to agree, people have to have a right to
Speak.
in public meetings to speak. And we can't control that in regular council meetings. That's all.
I was just mentioning, I hope you can all come to the Amanda Cunningham Memorial Advanced Scholarship fundraiser Wednesday at BW3's from 4 to 9. You don't have to stay the whole time. Come and eat, 100% of your meal goes to the scholarship fund, and there's gift baskets and gift cards to help raise funds. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Sorry, Steve, but we had to get him back in.
That's okay. That's okay.
I had sent an email out last week, I believe has that been shared with you, about the streetscape project?
No, okay,
I've just been speaking to some business owners down there and everything, they had some concerns, and we were hoping to have a conversation to see how this whole project was going to move forward. I know Ms. Anania was here a week or two ago and discussed about how the accessibility to her front, because of the work has been limited, and I was wondering, can we get steel plates and things of that nature to help that problem, and is that something that we're looking into, that we're going to accomplish?
I mean, I'm not as versed as other people on this right now. I know that was brought up. I did talk to engineering, that is based on what the contractor ends up doing with regards to my specific question was, what's the temporary sidewalks going to look like? I mean, I was walking today, it looks like in front of vendors, it's pretty much dirt. They've already ripped a lot of that up in that area right there. I don't know if it's going to be some type of plywood. I don't know what the temporary sidewalks will look like. I think with regards to her particular issue, they probably weren't doing anything at that point, because they're probably going to rip it up here. That's where they're at right now. A lot of this stuff is work in progress. We had talked, I know, with regards to some of the comments she made. I know we're looking at the accessibility issues here, that's going to be addressed, at least looked at, to see what issues ADA requirements with regards to this building. I've already talked to our street department as far as some handicap signs, parking spaces in the parking lots, and I think there are at least a vendor's parking lot down right there. They're assigning 3 spots in that parking lot, possibly 2 other in the other parking lot. There was issues with signage we've been talking to business owners. Me and the mayor were down last week. I went down around last week also, later in the week. Some of the issues that got brought up were, signage with regards to the businesses that aren't within the block radius that's actually shut down, but like within the block, half block, where the signs are, where you can't really, where you can get into, but they think people aren't really going into those areas because Hans places, those types of things. So we have ordered signs to put out where the initial barricades are, to make people aware that you can get in there, local businesses are open, so there's what signage for that. Some of the other things, there was issues with regards to traffic lights up on Federal and First and Erie, and with regards to now that people are using that more of a detour, that the locals that don't want to take the other way. There seems to be a lot more traffic going through there, so our traffic guys have already been up there trying to adjust the lights, and they're monitoring those to keep the flow going. It's a lot more is going east-west now than north-south, those types of issues. So this is an ongoing situation. We are monitoring it as best we can. I've been speaking with all the business owners. We're trying to keep them updated. We're having a weekly meeting of engineering with our inspector down there on the project. They meet every Monday morning, and bring to light any issues that are taking place.
How about communication of what to expect that week? Is that going to be part of that? Because that's some of the business owners they're trying to be understanding and work with the city, but they say it's difficult to be able to know how to conduct their business when they don't know what to expect that week. Like
what's going on in there specific.
Yeah, because we have a couple restaurants down there, and if one day there's a bulldozer parked in front of their front door, that'd be nice to know, so that you can say, hey, maybe I won't open up for lunch today, or whatever it is, whatever cost savings that you decide to take.
No, and I don't disagree, and I think that's something we probably should. I know the mayor talked about trying to get that out, whether it's on our Facebook page and stuff, but a lot of the businesses don't use our Facebook page and stuff, I guess, so maybe we need to try to reach out to them through some type of email or something.
That's what I'm saying, they probably all have an email, just do an email blast on
No,
that
we
meeting.
can try. I'll see what I can do to try to get something started.
Also, there's a empty ones compared to the full ones, that would probably be beneficial as well.
Well, one of the things that, another thing that we had done with regards to where the barricades, actually where they stop you. I know Bill Boyd, William Boyd at Angus Barbecue had said, you know, and that the barricade was down, I think, sort of around where the alibi is or something. And so I went down and talked to him, they moved the barricade up, so now he's got like 2 more parking spaces beside his building. And we've had them do that throughout the different zones so that we can try to shrink it, and basically as long as it's safe for the construction to take place, and that gives more parking spaces available to the businesses, et cetera. That's another thing we've done. So we're not just, you know, we're doing stuff's happening. That's all I can say, we're doing the best.
How about moving forward? So we have the footprint now between Erie and First, but we've torn down trees. Sidewalk work has been torn up and trying to look shabby all the way down to, you know, the other First, up to about Second or so, the other direction. Is this current project going to fix all that as well, or are these business owners going to see more construction right out front of their storefront to correct those?
I wish I don't know that, I don't want to speak, I don't know exactly.
Because a good example would be going all the way down to Apothecary. You've seen torn up sidewalk all the way down there, but she's a good block away from our current project. So it would be
A lot of that's all the water and gas stuff, which was kind of, I was someone's supposed to do.
yeah, but I think
This is going on.
we need to do something, because otherwise she's gonna start her business back up and feel like everything's going well, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, by the way, we're gonna shut down your sidewalk for the next month while we fix it. So, I mean, if we can be mindful of that as well. If they can't continue to take every 9 months to shut down, eventually that will close them. All right, that's all my points.
If you have any questions, call Greg McHugh. I'll call him right 4 or 5 times.
Greg's
So
in the plant first.
he probably has the details of what's going on. I called him about what's the curb width going to be, because it's supposed to be pretty much what it is right now, and he said it is. So, you know, we're still gonna have 2 lanes going each way, and, you know, some parking and stuff on the side, but that's, I checked that. This question you had about these both ends that are outside of the, you know, I believe because of utilities, they're gonna bear part of the cost of repaving, right?
Yeah, if they core it up, they're gonna be.
Yeah, part of it's going to be paid for by them, but I don't think the sidewalks and stuff are gonna be done right away, are they?
I don't know that, I don't want to speak.
You know, there are 4 phases to it.
You know, but the only reason I asked that is because we went through and we cut down some of these trees, and now they're what used to be a tree, and actually a nice addition is just like a stump and a gravel pit with weeds coming out of it. Speaking of, we need to do a better job of the hospital, man. Some of those weeds are getting
We are on.
ridiculous.
No, we
What's
are.
the feedback today? That was fine.
Yeah, we talked to them last week.
There's the building, but everything away from the building was cut.
But yeah, I mean, it kind of, I just don't want these business owners to have to sit and they have a beautiful 1 block radius downtown, and then they just have to sit there and wait for the other shoe to drop when we actually go to them. And that's a fearful position for them to be in.
For sure. Thank you. Okay, anybody out here have any comments or questions for us?
LG Duluth at 2954 Veterans Boulevard, Southeast Massillon, Ohio. I guess we had some people leave here, which is a little bit rude. The auditor and I believe the community development. If we sit,
Wait.
yeah, if we sit here, yeah.
Before we go any further,
Hmm?
this is a council meeting.
Okay,
It's not an administration,
right,
okay? So I would like them to stay, but they don't have to stay.
right.
They don't even have to be here.
But I think it'd be beneficial for all my citizens of Massillon here to have them stay to hear what the citizens of Massillon say. I think it's very rude for that to happen, Mr. Manson. You're always listening to everybody, just because they're thinking, I can understand the fire chief, he's a friend of mine. The police chief and that, but an auditor doesn't work at night at the city hall. the economic or community development director, doesn't work at City Hall. This is my first work session, so you'll have to bear with me. So what I'd like to start to say is about the Mayor Kathy Gaddis area. I like her as a person. I don't care about politics and everything. I can say this about her. She's personable, she's outgoing, and I don't care political affiliation or everything. She's always treated me nice, and I can't think of one time where she hasn't treated me nice. So, but with that being said, truthfully and personally, I want to make the best case I can for City Council of Duncan Plaza tonight. I believe the mayor wants curb to curb, tear it apart, put a carnival theme and all this that you've been talking about in Duncan Plaza. I believe it is a solution looking for a problem. And I ran into a lot of this in my business experience, okay? And I really think we have to look at the history of Duncan Plaza. I heard some council members, John Picard. Remember that name, John Picard, the architect. I'm going to get to John Picard. But we have to look at the history of Duncan Plaza. $3.5 million, I believe it was done. It was a state of the art when it was in. They ran out of money. They said, well, let's go out and put some seeds out there, see what will grow. Let's let it grow. The original cost was $86,000, okay? It was dead in the water. There was a gentleman named Mel Perking, who heads the Massive Development Finishing to the West Star Chamber of Commerce. His uncle was like 82 years old, and he said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give some money to it. And he said, I'm going to take it in my pocket and give some money to it. But little did Mel know when he was talking to him, that his 82-year-old uncle said, yes, that $25,000 is going to come out of your inheritance now. And Mel said, oh, really? Let's maybe think this over. But thank God for his uncle and a bunch of other people. You just don't bulldoze history. You don't do it. Okay, when Jack Barkin, the architect of the project for Duncan Plaza, he made it so it would last a very long time. I think Massillon City Council remembers about 3.5 weeks ago, we had some hard rains. I mean, it was hard. It was coming down. I mean, I couldn't see. Duncan Plaza, from what I did not have one puddle. Duncan Plaza. Okay, and that can be proved by a bunch of other people. The mayor has some options here that I'd like for her to consider tonight. She can go to the people who gave her the money and make some modifications on this. And I suggest that she go, consider Stadium Park and Lincoln Park. It's got the disc golf out there. Just not Duncan Plaza. Not today, not tonight, not anytime. I don't want to see anything after that. Back to the history of Duncan Plaza, it's so very important for us. The city got $15,000. The city of Massillon gave these people, the founding members, and they're still living today. There are 7 living today. None of those 7 members, my city of Massillon people, have been contacted, I know, I've talked to a lot of officials, by the mayor or her administration as to what the historical nature was it or the background of Duncan Plaza. They weren't called, they weren't contacted. You can get down over here where the time capsule is, there's some names there. Down at if you walk down below, you can see that going up to the city hall, there are some names of people. And I just is curious to this. The uncle putting that money in other people. I want you to remember these words here: safety, security, and well-lit. We just had, and I want to pray for the people at the Gilroy Garlic Festival, Gilroy, California, that were killed and maimed and whatever. I happened to look at that last night because I had come home from business. There was all brushes and trees and everything. It made it real hard. They were up in helicopters. We've got a very secure safety. Again, I'm going to go back to those 3 words: safety, security, and well-lit. That's important to me. These members at Duncan Plaza put a lot into this. And as far as John Picard, architects, I want to tell you something. I'm not so sure. I want to check my records, but I am not so sure that this was put out to bid. I understand it's going to be $80,000. He has 32 weeks. He makes, what, $135 an hour. His design staff makes $65, not bad for the city of Massillon resident, and $45 for the technical staff. So I just don't understand then. I would like to investigate more and find out if he really did. Did it really go out to bid? Because I understand, the way I understand it, the mayor and John Picard Architects got together and proposed. I have actually on my phone the actual thing of that. So Judge Elam has a counter proposal as we speak, drawings, and I would like to see you guys consider Judge Elam's thing, because I just don't want anything to happen to Old Duncan Plaza. It's reliable, it's great. We don't need that. And I know you guys are talking about $125,000 from the city parks. Steve Petro wants to put so much money in tennis courts and all that. All along, we got roads that are dilapidating. Businesses downtown are on a shoestring. Affinity Hospital is rotting away. The reservoir has mosquitoes and stuff like that. I know that the EPA, and I talked to them, well, are they going to do anything? Oh, no, they ain't going to do anything with it. We got a bunch of other things. But we got too much going on at one time. So I'm for the plan. I'm for Judge Elam, what he has out there. I don't know what he's going to do with that. Again, I want to make a key takeaway for this, my speech here tonight. It's my first work session. That we look into John Picard Architects to see if it went out to bid. I don't know if it went out to bid, but it's my understanding he crafted it up with the mayor, which probably is nothing wrong with it. But I always thought I want to make sure I understand it. I always thought we had to have a out to bid, put it out to bid, and stuff like that. And that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I didn't do a signage.
Yeah, I'd like to speak about the situation with the Duncan Plaza.
Your name?
George Cleva, 222 Lake Avenue, taxpayer, Massillon. But, you know, I've been coming up here for a couple of years now, and it's like, you've had some decisions to make here, and you usually get it right. This body of council, I will say, they usually get it right. From ticketing people, they wanted to ticket people for smoking in Veterans Park. Ed spoke up and said, well, you know, I don't think that's really a good idea. I think there should just be some signage. But that went on for like 2 or 3 readings, and you had time to think about it and get it right. But this is a big decision, this amphitheater. A lot of people have opinions that really don't know a lot about the whole phases and what the city's trying to accomplish. This money set aside for this project is, you know, grant money, so be it. Moving forward, I think the mayor's trying to better the city from the 4 phases that are involved in the whole Imagine Massillon thing. So, my theory is the economy's booming right now. Everyone's worried about $200,000-300,000, but you got to plant the seed. You got to plant the seed and watch it grow. Everyone's all skeptical, and we ain't even out of the box yet. I mean, there's been some delays, but I think with a new project and an old downtown, this body of council should have realized when you start peeling back the onion, there's going to be problems, and this isn't the beginning. There's probably going to be more problems because this is an old city, and you know, things are going to happen where it needs to be upgraded or whatever, but this is just the beginning, and there have been some problems, and the weather's been good so far. So that being said, I mean, in the beginning there was a delay, but now everything's kind of moving. But I would challenge this body to go to other amphitheaters, see what the cost is, see how it looks, go up to Kent, go over to Worcester, go over to Jackson, start talking to people, because we're all going by hearsay. We're like, well, that's what he said, that's what he said. No, man, you gotta say, well, I spoke to so-and-so, this is how it went, this is what it costs, this is what it's gonna take. So the amphitheater is like this big decision, you know, and to me, what it boils down to is you got a base cost for doing the preliminary work, and all the rest is upgrades, like lighting, security, probably plumbing, whatever you want to have at this facility. But I would encourage this body to go to other places and say, hey, the one, like I talked to Paul a couple weeks ago, the one in Kent, what did it cost? Does anybody know what their amphitheater costs? How many does it seat? The one in Jackson, does anybody know? I don't. If I was on this body of council, I would. I'd be finding out, because we're nickel diming $300,000. We want it to look nice. You want to bring young people downtown, Ed? You want to have Wi-Fi downtown, Ed? I know you spoke of it in the past. You know, maybe you want to have it at the amphitheater area. You know, I mean, let's not shortchange it. I like it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that don't like change, but we're talking about maybe the youth of Massillon might want some change. I just want you to kind of get more informed before you make this decision, because to me, it's a critical decision. You want it to look nice. You want to bring people down here, and that, you know, I hope you vote to just make it a nice facility and not shortchange it. Maybe the architect could have 2 or 3 proposals, and maybe if you wanted to, if you don't want to be on the hook, let the city decide. Put it in the paper. I mean, when they did Reservoir Park, there were 3 proposals. I was told there were 3 proposals, 3 plans for that park. And there wasn't enough city involvement to make a decision on what to do down there. That's what I was told by the mayor. Now, and Pedro was probably involved in that too. She took a percentage of people that voted on the proposals, the 3 proposals of what Cippo Park was supposed to look like, and she said she had about 11% response. So, if this body doesn't want to decide and is afraid of negative reaction, I think you either need to be more informed or let the city decide and vote on several proposals of what the amphitheater park should look like. But if you're going to do it, I think it should look nice. You know, I don't think you should shortchange it. And then maybe like when the architect gives you the proposals, what's the make or break? 100,000, 200,000, 300, 250,000? What's the tipping point? No money? We don't want to add any money to this? 100,000? So, I mean, ultimately you have to decide, and you got to live with the decision, but, you know, I live here in Massillon, and I would like it to look nice. I mean, you know, to the citizens, I think. And that's all I wanted to know. It's a hot topic, Duncan Plaza here, so, you know, you got time to think about it, but I appreciate everybody listening to me, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. You know, I just think it should look nice for the citizens. Thank you.
I think I can keep this in 3 minutes. I'm James Honestow, 2443 Wittenberg Avenue Southeast. And I just wanted to make public record, first of all, that in this city, I don't have anyone against any human being that lives here. There are no personal attacks coming from me, and I wanted this to be a part of public record. There are not rumors being spread by me. Everything I do, and this is campaign season, unfortunately, we have to address that. Because this is campaign season and everybody wants to say rumors are being started. What I do want to address is the fact that I am going off of information that is being provided to me by the city. I'm very impressed. I appreciate you all mentioning, or Councilman Manson, I guess I should do it officially. I appreciate you mentioning the fact that there's 3 plans out there for streetscape. What is the Massillon citizen supposed to rely on but the information there? I am reading the streetscape information, relying on that. The mayor addresses something about rumors being spread, about the vendors block. That has been talked about with the previous mayor, and it's been talked about, I know several businessmen that have confirmed that there's talk of someone trying to buy that block, demolishing it, and building by several sources. That's not a rumor, that's discussion, that's freedom of speech. But I would appreciate as much as you can, I'm not criticizing anyone here. I defended the councilman today from someone on the internet, and also I defended the mayor for something someone called her on the internet. And that's not my style and never will be my style. I am trying to inform the citizens and open up the doors of communication with the citizens. I don't care what happens with any of us as far as getting elected or getting not elected. I do care about opening up. I'm excited about the citizen engagement. I had somebody deliver a speech down when Jason was appointed by the GOP that people were like looking at him like, are you kidding me? And he came up and gave an excellent speech down there. Citizens are stepping up, and that's exciting to me. Again, I'm not here to criticize anyone in this city. There is nothing personal against anyone in this city. I'm excited about what's going on. I think you guys have done a great job. I think you got your hands full. But I'll tell you what, the more I knock doors, the more I'm out there, the citizens want the basics taken care of. They are not near as excited about streetscape as certain people are. They don't mind having infrastructure repair. They don't mind having things look nice. But they want those doggone steel plates off their streets. They come running out to my vehicle to tell me that. Not knocking their door, they run to my vehicle. It happens almost once or twice a day as I drive into a neighborhood. Again, all I'm just encouraging the council to do is consider the information that's available to the public, because we can only duplicate what we're hearing and the sources we hear it from. We're not out there spreading rumors, we just want to know how to make our decisions as the citizens of Massillon. So I would just encourage you, anything you can do to give us accurate information, that's helpful for all of us, and that will help us support all of you, and I appreciate your time. I told you to keep it short, so thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Okay, we're finished for tonight.
Oh, I just want to remind everybody about
What's that?
I just want to remind everybody about the collection.
Yes. Everybody aware of that? If anybody wants to see those plans I was talking about, there's the one with the sweeping walkway and stuff.